we can move that, just slide that mic. And then you can you can move around a little bit, right? Yeah. Once we have sound, we do have sound. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to those of you here in person and to those attending live streaming, where there are 27 currently joining us via the internet. 30, now 30. I'm Tim Rogalski. My pronouns are he, him. I'm the professor of mathematics here at CMU, and I'm welcoming you into this space with an acknowledgement of the land on which we live. And this land acknowledgement was not generated by GPT. We are treaty people. This is Treaty 1 territory, land since time immemorial of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We drink water from Shoal Lake, Treaty 3. We power our lights and our devices from hydroelectricity generated on Treaty 5 land to our north, the home of many First Nations and Métis peoples. Truth and reconciliation requires good listening. Those who have ears hear. Reconciliation is searching the landfill. Those who have ears hear. Humanize her. Those who have ears hear. Remember her. Rebecca Contois, Morgan Harris, Mercedes Moran, Buffalo Woman. Those who have ears, hear. Listen now in the silence. Thank you, and I ask you to hold on to that through this evening, because these troubled times in which we live emanate everywhere, and we have a responsibility to the world, to humanity, to nature, to make it better. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Chloe Friesen, CBC producer, and one of my favorite students, Chloe.
Hello, it's really funny that you say that. I was telling Tim that he was one of my favorite professors, because it's very hard to teach me math. And he allowed me to do a thesis project on the math behind rock, paper, scissors, where the thesis was, there is none. So one of his favorite students, he's one of my favorite professors, because I could not have gotten through math without him. So thank you, Tim.
It's amazing to have a favorite student-professor relationship through one class. That's kind of fun.
I didn't do much math. So, Tim, we are all here for what is known as face-to-face. What is face-to-face?
Face-to-face is a place for us to talk about really important things, human to human, person to person, face-to-face. Yes, that includes those of you who are attending online, and it includes those of you who are here in person.
So tonight, what are our goals here? There's a lot of us here. We're going to have a lot of good conversations, but what are the goals behind all of it?
So what are the big questions that we have about AI? What's its role in the world? This is what we're thinking about tonight, but one of our overarching goals is to have fun. We've learned from our Indigenous relatives that humor builds resilience. And we're going to take that to heart tonight. We're going to have fun, we're going to play some game shows, we're going to laugh together. It will be a good time.
So what makes the structure of this fun? Because, I don't know, sometimes just like a panel is exciting, but we're going to have some fun. What's going to make it fun?
Game shows.
Let's go.
Game show number 1 is you, the audience, in the style of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, telling us what you know about AI. Game show number 2 in the style of Karen? Family Feud will be our human panelists, showing you that it doesn't take computer technology expertise to interact with AI and to do it really well. And then game show number 3 we'll leave that for the end.
Ooh, tension. All right, so I guess we're gonna get started with our first game show, Tim.
Let's do it.
And I'm gonna bring up the one and only Kevin Kilbury. Kevin, where's Kevin? Oh, come on down. Right, like game shows, yeah? Okay, so Kevin, yeah, feel free. Oh. That was amazing. Okay, Kevin, I understand you prepared this part of the evening. Can you tell us about this game show? How was it generated by AI?
Well, we wanted to start the evening off on a playful note.
Thank you.
We wanted to start the evening off on a playful note where we could maybe educate and have some fun educating, getting to know what AI is. I think most are familiar with AI, but maybe don't know AI, haven't used it. So this is sort of an icebreaker for those who are aware of it. This will delve into sort of how popular it is, how it can be used, and that sort of thing. And what makes sense is why not use AI to generate this little game show? So this graphic that you see here, that's generated by AI. The questions are all generated by AI by feeding reports about artificial intelligence from Forbes magazine, and the other was from a Deloitte report. So it synthesized these multi-page reports into a series of questions. I had to curate them into 10 questions for the sake of time. And if I had more time, all the animations and the screens that you'll see could also have been generated by AI. That's something that can happen not so long from now as AI develops. Anyways.
Let's see if we could solve this technical difficulty with buzz in the room.
Anyways, here we go.
All right, so you might see Daniel, who was about to go into that terrifying little void right there. Hey, you fixed it, Dan. All right, so we're gonna get this game show started, and you are all participants here. There's no panel at the front. You are eligible to answer, and you're also eligible to not become a millionaire. I'm sorry, that is not an option, but we do have prizes, and they're worth $1 million in my heart. All right. So if you have an answer that you would like to share, just wave your arm, shout at Dan, and Dan/Vanna White, can I do that? Will come bring you a microphone. So should we get going? Question 1. What is artificial intelligence? A, the creation of robots that can think and feel. B, the study of human behavior and cognition. C, the study of human behavior and cognition. D, the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines. Who? Pick, oh, there we go.
D.
Okay.
I think the answer is D.
Okay, D, let's take a look. Oh, you are correct. A prize right there.
A prize.
So that's an interesting thing that the same answer came up twice.
You never know with
You
AI.
never know. All right. Which of the following is not an application of AI in everyday life? A, virtual assistants. B, facial recognition. C, predicting weather. D, baking cookies.
And we have a volunteer right
hand
over there.
here. Yeah, I saw purple over here first. I'm sorry.
For the prize.
D, baking cookies. D, you are correct. Congratulations. Next question. What is the term for the ability of an AI system to adapt and improve its performance over time? A, algorithmic evolution. B, dynamic optimization. C, machine learning. D, continuous enhancement. I'm seeing a very enthusiastic hand wave.
There was a hand up right in front of me before you finished reading it. And then it went down. So we're going to ask anyways.
Machine learning?
C, machine learning.
Do you want to ask a friend, or are you confident?
Oh, Tim, I don't.
Eli, what do you say? Eli says machine learning. We've got two folks who say machine learning. Nicely done.
That was very dramatic. Ooh, this is interesting. Why is artificial intelligence important? A, it can solve all the world's problems and challenges. B, it has the potential to change how we live, work, and play. C, it can replace humans in all tasks and jobs. D, it is the future of technology and innovation. Anybody? Okay.
I see. Yep.
I think that one was first.
All right, behind you here. Talk to me.
D. It is the future of the.
It is B. That was a good attempt.
Answer.
Some might say that it is the future of technology and innovation. We'll dive into that later.
Right.
Next question. What percentage of consumers are concerned about misinformation from AI? This feels like a math test, and I don't like it. A, 75%, B, 90%, C, 50%, D, 25%.
Oh, I saw like 3 go up at the same time.
There was one real fast, right in the front here. In the black hat, I believe.
Black hat?
Confidence.
I think it's B, 90%.
B, 90%. Okay, concerned, 90%.
Who agrees with Harry? 90%.
Okay. Oh, 75. You know what? I think Dan is going to give you a prize anyway, because that's just kind of the kind of person that he is. All right. More numbers. How many users did ChatGPT have within the first 5 days of its release? A, 1 million. B, okay. Is someone just going to go for it?
Hand went up immediately.
100,000? 500,000?
Also,
1 million?
how many people here were within that first 5 days?
Yeah,
of using
that's a good
ChatGPT?
question.
Put your hand up if you were in
Any
that first
early
5 days.
adopters?
Only 1? 2?
Not a ton. All
I'm
right.
gonna say 10 million D.
10 million. Let's take a look.
10 million. Does the audience agree? Oh,
Ooh,
we've got some debate
emphatic
here.
no's.
Any challengers? Anybody else want to put a hand up
We've
and take a
got
guess?
some chance of D in
We've
the
got
front
some
row.
D's here. Everyone who says D, stand up. D's, stand up.
Ooh.
D
Ooh.
stands up. Everyone who says A, stand up.
Okay, 1 million is A.
We've got a 50-50 split.
Okay.
The answer is A, 1 million.
There is also booing coming from the front row. This is fun, Tim. You were right. This is fun.
Faster than any other algorithm to 1 million users like that. Faster
Wow.
than Facebook.
Take that, Instagram. Okay. What percentage of Canadians are using generative artificial intelligence tools with 2 question marks? A, 30%, B, 10%, C, 40%, or D, 20%? We had an early hand right there.
Coming up behind you here.
They're all under 50%, which kind of makes sense, I think.
C?
C? With a question mark?
C.
C. With
Do we like C?
confidence.
C with confidence. So very
good try.
close.
Good try.
Interesting. Of those who use it.
How often do generative AI users in Canada use it? A, daily or for every task. B, once a month. C, once a week. D, rarely or never.
Convenient.
C.
C,
Once a week. How do the rest of you feel about once a week?
We've got some no's.
We like C.
A,
We've got some A's. Remember, this
I
is
think you should
of
just
those
stick
who
with your
use
gut.
it. The 20%
Yeah.
of Canadians who use
Yeah.
it. We've got a Big debate going on between C and A, but the answer is A.
I'm sorry I led you astray. And you still get a prize, though.
That might be it. Oh, one more. Two more.
Two more?
Two more.
Okay. What are some potential advantages? Oh, these are long. Oh, no, okay. What are some potential advantages of artificial intelligence? A, good at detail-oriented jobs, reduces time for data-heavy tasks, saves labor and increases productivity, delivers consistent results. B, solves complex problems instantly, predicts the future with 100% accuracy, achieves world peace and harmony, whoa, extends human lifespan indefinitely.
100%.
C, creates new job opportunities, improves human creativity and imagination, enhances social interactions, promotes ethical decision-making. D, eliminates the need for human supervision, ensures 100% accuracy in all tasks, guarantees equal opportunities for all individuals, eliminates biases and discrimination.
We've got an answer over there.
I'm gonna go with C.
C.
How does the audience feel about C?
People are saying A. People
Everyone
are
who says
saying
C, stand up. Everyone who says A, stand up. Oh.
Everyone who says B, stand up. Yay!
Does anyone stand for both A and C?
Trick question. We're all winners. I have heard that this is the last question.
This is the last question, and it turns out that the answer is
They were A and
right
C.
there.
A and C were correct. Although they are now all highlighted, which is worrisome.
We are now sitting at potential risks. And
our
it's
new.
algorithm
Okay.
has given us the answers in advance. This is a really nice teaching strategy sometimes.
Oh, wait, so they're all right?
Bonus question.
What are the
Every
potential
one of these are
risks and challenges of artificial
risks.
intelligence? A, lack of transparency, ethical dilemmas and moral implications, a dependency on AI for decision making. B, the inability to solve complex problems, limited capabilities compared to humans, high energy consumption. B, biased and discriminatory systems, lack of generalization from one task to another, increased unemployment rates. D, unlimited power and control over humans, loss of privacy and security, and the creation of super intelligent beings.
These are the questions we need to ask tonight, a little bit later.
All right, well, thank you everyone for playing. Thank you for everyone who participated. And I am both very excited and a little bit scared to continue, but in the best way. All right. Okay, so before we continue into this, Tim, we read some stuff about ChatGPT. Can you explain what a GPT is?
A GPT that's a great question. Who has the GPT app on their phone? We're going to ask. So we are blessed this evening to have an AI panelist with us, and that AI panelist is right here.
So,
We're at a public panel discussion, and we would like you to be one of the panelists. Would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. I'd be happy to join the panel. Hello, everyone. I'm ChatGPT, an AI developed by OpenAI. I specialize in understanding and generating human language. My purpose is to assist, provide information, and engage in conversations across a wide range of topics. I'm excited to be here and contribute to this discussion.
So my first question for you is to explain in general terms to an educated audience, what is a GPT? Please do not be too specialized.
Absolutely, I'd be glad to explain. A GPT, or generative pre-trained transformer, is a type of artificial intelligence designed to understand and generate human language. Think of it as a highly advanced computer program that's been trained on a vast amount of text. This training helps it learn how language works. Not just words, but also context, tone, and style. Its main function is to predict the next word in a sentence, which sounds simple, but this ability allows it to write essays, answer questions, and even create poetry. much like a human would. It's a bit like having a very well-read assistant who can talk about almost anything. It's used in a variety of applications, from customer service to helping with creative writing.
You will notice that it sometimes likes to go on and on and on. There's a little red X button. Wouldn't you sometimes love to be in a conversation where you could just hit the X button? Thank you. That was a really helpful breakdown. Now, through the rest of the panel discussion, we're actually going to be reading your responses instead of having you speak them back to us. And the reason for this is that we want to emphasize that ChatGPT is an algorithm that predicts text, that it's not actually a conscious, self-aware person with agency that's responding back and forth with us. Is that okay with you?
That sounds like a great approach and absolutely okay with me. It's important to remember that I'm a text-based AI model, and reading my responses can emphasize that I'm a tool designed to generate informative and helpful text without consciousness or self.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just, Tim, do you consciously choose to thank it?
Yes.
You were very polite.
I'm very polite with it. Here's one thing you need to know about these models. They learn from every interaction. Every time we use it, they're learning from us. We're training it. We need more Canadians to use this thing.
It'll just start apologizing to everyone.
Where are we going,
with.
right? Where are we going? We're going with this being an interactive part of our everyday life, and if we can train it to be polite and kind and generous and think about broad issues the way that we would really like it to do, and not just to be selfish and angry and all of those things, I think we're going to have a better world. So yes, I say please and thank you.
That's very nice of you.
So that was great. If you're like me, verbal explanation like this is not as helpful as a visual explanation. So The Guardian has an amazing little visual explainer here, and we're just going to walk through that together. A GPT is an example of a large language model, which is a model that uses natural language. The basic idea is that it's predicting the next word, and it's doing so by thinking about distances between words that it recognizes in everything that it's read. So here's an example. It's not actually thinking about words, it's thinking about what we call tokens. And so, for example, the is a token, sibling is a token, s is a token, and it recognizes that this is the plural. Un is a token, happy is a token. You put them together and it's the opposite of happy. And these are represented by vectors, which is a mathematical idea. This is a mathematical algorithm. Vectors work like a map. You're thinking about distance and you're thinking about direction between these places. And the vectors assign those distances between words now. So here you have an example of many, many words, like many, many locations on a very large map, and we know the distances between those words. But it's not just in 2 dimensions, it's in hundreds of dimensions. So something like substitutability would be a dimension. Happy and pleased are 2 words that would substitute for each other, so they have a short distance between them on that measure. Happy and sad would have kind of an opposite direction between them. The predictive text that you use when you get a text and an email and you just click, yes, this is a good reply, instead of tapping it out or typing it out, that's very different. That is really just literally predicting what comes next based on the few words that come before it. This is quite different. The transformer model pays attention to all of the tokens in all of the context. So here we have 2 phrases, a tidy thing to eat pasta or a nice thing to eat pasta with is. And it does predict the next word, but it's doing so by paying attention to the entire context of the conversation that you're having with it. Tidy indicates this idea of utility or tools, right? So the word with now is interpreted as using, because those two words are close together, but there's another association between tidy and using on a different dimension. Versus a nice thing, now you're thinking about pairing, pairing with. So after that, it will conclude your sentence by using a fork or accompanied by whatever it is. So this is what makes the transformer special, and this is the really new innovation that happened a few years ago and that we're now seeing in this innovative way. There's another explainer in the Financial Times, and it goes through a lot more detail if you're interested, and I'm going to skip through almost all of that and just get to this idea of tokenization. After we tokenize, pull these words together, and encode a prompt, we're left with this big block of data, and it pays attention not just to the whole context, but it's actually paying attention to everything that you've said. Relationships between every word in the paragraph that you just read, in the book that it just read and is trained on. So yes, it's predicting the next word, but it's doing so in a very sophisticated way that includes these distances and paying attention to all the words that it has. And that includes a probability score, which means that you'd never get the same answer twice. You can ask the same question in exactly the same way, and it will determine its response based on probabilities, not on a 100% what we call deterministic sort of an algorithm. We call this stochastism. A stochastic algorithm uses probabilities and a little bit of randomness in order to do its thing. And of course, what we're not just doing is predicting the next word, we're predicting the next little bits of words. We're thinking about the whole paragraph while thinking about the previous context and the future context in something that's called beam search. So there's your Financial Times explainer together with the Guardian explainer. If you want to go and study these later, these are really helpful ways of understanding what a GPT is.
So Tim, something we're going to be talking a bit and mentioning, a word we're going to be mentioning throughout the rest of the evening is prompting. Can you explain a little bit about what prompting is as it relates to ChatGPT?
Yeah, a prompt is anything that you type in to it. So I've got ChatGPT up here. Chloe, what would you like me to prompt?
Ooh, can you write a haiku about frogs, please?
I love how you say please.
I learned from you.
Are you going to read it?
We have one. Okay. Lily pads. Wait, I need to check the syllables. Lily pads abound. Frogs in a symphony croak. Nature's chorus plays. That is a haiku about frogs.
There you go. So in the background, it's doing all this tokenizing and beam searching business. But your prompt also guides it, because remember that it's thinking about the context that you're giving it. So this was a really nice specific prompt, right? A haiku about frogs. Mm-hmm. Now, frogs is kind of generic.
Right.
Is there something else that you would like a little more specific than just frogs? And
yeah.
Because it gives you symphonies and nature. But
okay. Can you write a haiku about angry frogs, please?
And where would you like your angry frogs to be?
At the library. Here we go. In the library, angry frogs croak loudly, disrupt, quiet readers flee. That is much better.
It is, right?
That's way better.
It's much more interesting.
Way more
interesting. The first one is just kind of generic.
We've got characters now, there's quiet readers,
right?
They're fleeing.
Right? And this is, in computer science, we call this garbage in, garbage out. What you give it, you'll get back. And if your program doesn't work, it's probably your fault. It's similar here, except you need no computer programming expertise. You just need to be a thinking person who can communicate with language, because it understands your language. But the more you give it, the more you contextualize, the more you're specific, right? The better it's going to be. But you can just keep going back and forth. You see how we're just chatting with it like we would chat with a brilliant human haiku composer. That's prompting.
Wait, can we put with angry frogs in the library who can't read? Maybe that's why they're angry. I just want to know what's going to happen. Yep. Oh, frogs in the library croak their tails, can't read a word. Chaos and ribbits. Thank you. That was just for my own personal reasons.
Nicely done. Thank you, Chloe. Chloe has just demonstrated what we're now going to try with a very different question.
Yes, we're gonna get into another game show here. So, Karen, would you like to come up and help explain what's going to happen next?
Absolutely.
All right. Karen, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Sure. I'm Karen Ridd. I teach here and at the downtown campus, Mennonite College. I teach in conflict resolution studies and international development studies, and I've been part of the team working on this. Delighted to be here.
All right. And can you tell us a little bit about this next game show?
Yeah, so now we have a game show where we are going to bring forward a couple of 3 panelists, and we're going to create a prompt that is, at the beginning, a very basic prompt, and then we're going to get our panelists to help us notice what the prompt's answer has that's helpful and what might be missing from it. You can see that one of the keys to using artificial intelligence well is to be able to think critically about the material that it is giving us. So we're going to get a little practice on that from our team of participants. Experts in their own ways, not necessarily in artificial intelligence. And they're all going to have a noisemaker, and when they have an answer ready, they're going to clap their noisemaker, toot their horn, and of course you folks can get into it. If you are seeing things that you would like to point out or ask about, please hop in with that as well.
All right, I would like to invite our participants up and...
we should just say
yes.
that we didn't really get a chance to introduce Dana White, which is really Daniel McIntyre Ridd.
Yes.
So
Dan, tell us about yourself. You got it.
I do have it now.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Dan. Chloe and I did a bunch of, well, first of all, I graduated from here in 2021.
Go Blazers!
Go Blazers. Yeah, Chloe and I both did the Wittenberg Radio podcast here, and I graduated with communications and media degrees, and I've been roped into this to help out. And then also, I'll be doing some more reading of the AI later tonight, but maybe that's giving a little bit too much away. But
spoilers.
Can I take your handheld microphone away so I can wander through here and you can have that podium microphone? Fantastic. Is that one on? Are you able to introduce the folks?
I believe it is. Very nice. Okay, now I would like to invite our participants to join us here in the seats. Do you all have your noisemakers? Is this yours? Yes. Lovely. Just remember to lean in, just so folks can hear you. Perfect. All right, before we get going, I'm also going to get you folks to introduce yourselves to our lovely crew here. Jody, can we start with you?
Great, thanks. Hi, good evening. My name is Jody Duick-Reed. I am Director of Research and Program Grants. I've also worked at Mennonite College teaching in conflict resolution studies. So I'm here tonight because I asked lots of questions, so I'm hopeful to make some more questions.
What's your noisemaker?
I got the bike. Bell.
All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaisar Runja. I'm a co-founder of Urdu AI. It's a Pakistan-based startup. We democratize AI for common people. And I'm a co-founder of Wang Lab of Innovation, which is Pakistan's first rural innovation lab, WALI, Wang Lab of Innovation. And also I'm a graduate of Masters in Peace Building and Collaborative Development from CMU. And I have a lot of stories with the AI, and I have one of my friend as well with me. So we will talk to her as well, and I have...
And I'm Shannon Richard. I'm associated to CMU. My wife, Lisa, is an employee here, and most people that have been here know her well. I'm a team lead at Lively, which is a local startup. We specialize in robotic process automation and AI, dealing with customer service people. So, yeah, that's it. And my noisemaker is the clapper.
Amazing. All right. So our big question here that we're going to start with, our prompt, sorry, I just learned that word. Well, I didn't just learn it, but prompting, it's important. The prompt that we're going to put in to begin here is, what brings peace? Big question for ChatGPT, so let's, oh no. All right, all right. Where's the red button, Tim? It's still going.
Do you still want me to read this, or?
Yeah. Can we scroll up?
We can scroll back up, yep.
All right, and we're going to get our ChatGPT voice here, which is Dan. Let's just read the first chunk.
Get it to summarize what it just gave you in 20 words or less.
That's exactly how this game works. You are one step ahead of us. We're going to start with the complex, but actually, yeah, let's put that in. That was your noisemaker, and we'll summarize it. Let's see what we get.
We have a suggestion from the audience.
Summarize it in 20 words or less.
Where was the suggestion from?
Peace is achieved through conflict resolution, justice, education, empathy, diplomacy, nonviolence, and environmental sustainability, fostering harmony at personal and global levels.
All right, panelists, is anything jumping out at you about that answer? Anything you're noticing that's either feels right, wrong, maybe not detailed enough for you? We're getting shrugs.
It did a pretty good job in 20 words or less.
Okay.
You know, initially, I mean, I would love to go into some more depth in terms of what the words mean and the order that they put them in.
Okay.
But I think for 20 words or less, that's okay.
In the order they put them in, what could our prompt be?
I think it's missing justice.
Justice is the
Is
second,
there?
yes.
Yeah.
Conflict, education, then justice.
So,
What order would you prefer, Jody, and why?
I think justice is pretty important. So I would maybe think about that and what that looks like in a different combination.
Yeah, especially thinking justice, linking it with poverty and income injustice.
it's revised it for us.
Justice, including addressing poverty, plays a critical role in fostering peace, along with education, empathy, diplomacy, and conflict resolution.
Does that feel better than the first attempt?
What is diplomacy, right? Who defines that? Who engages in that?
Let's ask.
Who defines it? Who engages in it? Oops, that's the answers.
Oh no!
Too long.
I can read through this. This is not actually as much as the first one. Diplomacy is the practice of conducting negotiations and communication between countries or entities to manage international relations, resolve conflicts, and advance mutual interests. It involves the use of diplomacy and diplomatic tools, such as negotiations, treaties, and discussions, to promote peaceful cooperation, maintain international order, and address issues of common concern. Diplomacy is defined by established principles and norms of international law and practice. There isn't a single organization or authority that defines diplomacy. Rather, it is shaped by customary international law, treaties, and diplomatic conventions. The United Nations and its member states also play a significant role in setting diplomatic standards and practices throughout various diplomatic forums and international agreements. Countries engage in diplomacy through their diplomatic corps, which includes ambassadors.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's the big red button.
Red button. Thank you. Thank you. That's even better. Yes, what are you seeing?
I think we can make it a bit easier if you ask ChatGPT to explain it to a 5-year-old boy, girl, whoever, 5-year-old student or someone.
Okay, so we're going to explain it to a 5-year-old.
Yep.
5-year-old or grade 5?
5-year-old.
Amazing.
Is it diplomacy?
Yep.
Diplomacy? Okay.
And use some more synonyms, please.
Oh no, we had a mistype. Oh.
Imagine diplomacy is like being a good friend and talking to other countries to make sure everyone gets along and plays nicely together. Just like you might talk to your friends to solve problems or share toys, countries have a special people called diplomats who talk to other countries to solve problems and work together on important things, like helping the environment or keeping peace. Diplomacy helps countries be friends instead of fighting.
All right, so let's remember we began with what brings peace, and we're at our friends playing nicely together, which I just love. I would like to get the audience engaged here. Is there anything you would like to prompt? Is there anything that you're noticing that you would like to share?
Absence of war.
There's the absence of war in this. Is there a certain prompt? Or you just want to say that there's the absence of war?
Just the absence of war.
All right.
The absence of war means that there's no fighting or conflict between countries. It's like when you and your friends or family are not arguing or fighting with each other. Instead, you are getting along peacefully and working together, just like countries do when they practice diplomacy. Peaceful countries try to avoid war because war can be very harmful and hurt a lot of people. So, when we say there's an absence of war, it means there are countries that are living in peace and not using violence to solve their problems.
You're observing that it's still talking as if to a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Back up also, you observed that there are no syntax errors, right? I misspelled old, and it's totally fine with that. If I'm programming a computer, it's not fine with that.
I heard a bell.
Yeah, just this idea that peaceful countries try to avoid war, and the way that frames peaceful countries as if we should see ourselves within that. Just an interesting connection in terms of people who want justice are then not seen as peaceful.
Can you say that briefly for me, to offer it as a suggestion here?
Anybody help me here? Do peaceful countries want justice too, or
do peaceful countries fight for justice?
Right.
Like maybe put the word fight in there, which kind of feels like an oxymoron, but.
I'm just going to add that justice seems to be central.
Is it still going to talk to us like we're 5?
It will until we tell it not.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's
Okay.
a no. We're not 5 anymore.
Oh, we've got arms waving here.
Arms waving. I have a microphone if we want some.
Oh, okay. It was just enthusiasm.
Oh, fantastic.
We're good.
Yes, peaceful countries often work to promote justice within their own borders and on the international stage because justice is indeed central to peace. Here's how it works. Within their own borders, peaceful countries typically have systems in place to ensure that people are treated fairly and justly. This includes having fair laws, a functioning legal system, and institutions that protect human rights. When there are injustices or inequalities within a country, peaceful nations often work to address these issues through legal and social reforms, ensuring that everyone is treated fairly and has access to these opportunities. On the international stage, peaceful countries often engage in diplomacy, as mentioned earlier, to promote justice at the global level. They may support international organizations like the United Nations that work to uphold human rights and international law. Peaceful nations also advocate for justice in cases of conflicts or human rights abuses in other countries, using diplomatic means to address these issues and promote fair solutions. So, peace and justice are interconnected, and peaceful countries strive to create a just and fair world within both their own borders and to ensure lasting peace and harmony.
I'd like for it to list peaceful countries.
Ooh.
What are the peaceful countries?
Can you, yeah, can you provide a list of peaceful countries?
Interesting question.
Oh.
Number 6.
Determining the most peaceful countries can vary depending on criteria used and the time frame. However, organizations like the Global Peace Index regularly rank countries based on their level of peacefulness. As of my last knowledge update in January 2022, here are some countries that were often ranked amongst the most peaceful in various global peace. I don't know that word, and I'm not afraid to say that. Indices, fantastic, thank you. Number 1 is Iceland, number 2 is New Zealand, Portugal is 3, Austria is 4, Denmark is 5, Canada is 6.
All right, perfect. We're gonna red button you there. Yes, Kesser.
So I think the other way to look at this is you can also ask ChatGPT to criticize what it says. So ask, for example, you ask, criticize these countries, they claim to be peaceful. What are the things that they're not peaceful about, and what should people know about?
All right, we're gonna end on that fun note.
So say that again, criticize this list?
Yeah, criticize this list and highlight things that they might not put them into peaceful countries.
Maybe particularly about Canada. Highlight why.
Oh.
Yeah, probably Canada.
That are not peaceful?
It's a good long list.
Great. Dan, do you want to read the first chunk and then just the lists?
Sure, yeah. While Canada is often considered one of the more peaceful countries globally, it's essential to recognize that no country is entirely free from criticism, and peacefulness can be relative. Here are some criticisms and behaviors associated with Canada that some might consider as not entirely peaceful. Indigenous right issues, arms exports, environmental concerns, international relations, treatment of refugees and asylum seekers. And those are the top 5 things that Canada is not peaceful about.
Excellent. We're going to end that little exercise there. Thank you, panelists, for all the suggestions, as well as the audience. That was excellent. I do want more haikus, but I'm not going to ask.
What we've demonstrated is that everyone is an expert. All you need to do is to be able to go back and forth with it. But once you have expertise in your domain, ChatGPT can produce for you something that will have excellence. So you are all experts.
So as we're getting the next kind of game set up here, we have someone here who uses AI in a really fascinating way. Dan, if you could bring me another microphone, that would be wonderful. So, Martin, what's your last name, Martin? Caitler. Amazing. Martin Caitler is an alumni here, go Blazers once again, and new CMU staff, and you created a ChatGPT prompt that you use with someone in your life. Can you explain a little bit more? Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, hi. So I have a 7-year-old son, and I don't know if you guys have talked to 7-year-olds about their day at school, but you can't get information from them. How was your day? Good. What did you do first in class? Stuff. Okay, can you tell me more? I don't remember. So I said, this is tough. And so I created a little chatbot that we named Chatty. And Chatty's job was to ask child-friendly questions and get information from him about his day. And using the same voice synthesis technology that was shown earlier by Tim, my son has chats with Chatty, and I get to listen in and hear all about his day, and he freely gives information to this chatbot. Why can't I do that?
Yeah. We were talking earlier about this, and you mentioned there's some wonderful things about this. There are also some not so wonderful things about this.
Yeah, so it was wonderful that my son could talk about the same thing again and again, and Chatty didn't care and was enthusiastic and just tell me more, which sometimes I don't have the patience for. As you can imagine, we all have those moments.
What's a topic that your son talks about all the time that you get maybe a little tired of? Well,
I shouldn't say, but Walter, you love trains, you love trucks. and I love them too, but not as much as you.
But Chatty loves trains and trucks.
Yes, and
Amazing.
is willing to chat about it as long as you want. Yeah.
All right. And what are so Chatty is very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
What are some of the downfalls that you kind of noticed with this exercise?
So my son, I think he started thinking that Chatty was a real person. And so we had to stop the conversation and go back and this is a computer, this is just, someone, and we changed the voice. Oh, don't change the voice, change it back. Chatty doesn't sound like that. Yeah, so he started to connect with it as a human being. Yeah.
Have you ever asked what your son thinks Chatty looks like? Is that something you've explored?
Interesting. Walter, I'm gonna ask you tomorrow.
Amazing. I'm excited. Can you let me know what Chatty looks like when you find out?
I will.
What do you think Chatty looks like?
Well, if you ask Chatty, Chatty will show you.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it.
I'll take this one back, I think, yeah.
Oh, we're still on. Okay, so we've got a new, next up we have a panel discussion, so we're gonna engage our panelists here again. We're gonna be addressing those big questions that we seem to face about what this AI revolution looks like. And Tim, something special is happening here. You mentioned some virtual panelists. These aren't our only panelists.
Inviting 3 virtual panelists onto the virtual platform right now. So yesterday in class, my students and I worked on a prompt that would create 3 personas, each of them expert in some field in artificial intelligence and society, environmentalism, human rationality, these kinds of things. This moves us from the everyone is an expert because all you have to use is your natural language into what we call structured prompting, where you do need some experience, but you can build that experience in about 10 hours of just playing back and forth with it. Now, AI has this, or OpenAI has this new app within it. So I am in the paid version now. We previously were in 3.5, which is available for free to anybody. Now I'm in my paid version, and I can create a GPT chatbot, specialized chatbot, and then I can share it with anyone who can then use it. Martin can now share Chatty with all of us. So here's how it works. I go into configure, and I tell it what its name is, what its description is, and then I give it a long structured prompt. It's going to create 3 expert personas talking about AI. It's going to introduce the panelists. I give it some specific information about how it's going to do that and about diversity of the panel. I'm telling it how to respond. This is the person now responding. The virtual panelists, I say, will respond out of their expertise, make sure that it's, you noticed how long and kind of laboring we got, right, previously? And now I'm saying, look, no less than 100, no more. Must be less than 125 words. And as we experimented with this, we realized that it liked to go above 125 words pretty quickly. And so I just told it, no, I really, really mean it.
Please?
Adhere.
Did you say please?
I did. Please be sure to adhere strictly to this limit throughout the conversation. And also sources. So if there are sources, make sure they're credible and that the web links work. So that's what I did, and this is now available at this link to anyone who would want to use it. And this is now our personal AI virtual panel chatbot for the evening.
All right, so we have 6 panelists in total. 3 sitting right here, 3 are AI. What happens next?
Well, since we're on the game show theme, Daniel will be the reader and will move from seat to seat depending on who is responding. And it would be nice to have just a little bit of fun with this. So do you know the game show Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where audience is asked to provide a little bit of a prompt and then there's an impromptu acting on that. We're going to do the same thing. So I would like to know from the audience, what are 3 personality characteristics that you would like to imbue these panelists with?
Go for it. Quirky. Sarcastic. Iron Man? Okay, we got quirky, sarcastic, and Iron Man.
Do you like Iron Man?
Oh, true. Okay, anything else, any other personality traits that you think? Friendliness, okay. It'll probably say please and thank you back to us. That's very nice. Malicious? How are we doing? How many more are we looking for?
I'm liking quirky. I'm not liking the others so much, and one of the reasons is that we're going to be talking about some pretty serious issues.
So Iron Man shouldn't be part of the conversation.
Maybe not Iron Man.
Maybe not Iron Man.
Maybe not malicious.
Okay.
Either, right? We want friendly, helpful, but potentially quirky. So, for example, one thing that we tried earlier that worked quite well was a dry sense of humor. Or do you prefer puns over a dry sense of humor? Puns, I've seen
We
a
see
cheer
thumbs up.
for puns.
I saw both a thumbs up and a thumbs down for puns. But let's go puns.
And we're looking for one more characteristic, Karen. Dramatic. Shout your words. Loves to rhyme.
What was the one
And
near you,
Aiden?
Karen? Skeptical.
Skeptical. Do we like skeptical, loves to rhyme, or dramatic? Audience, vote.
Hands
Starting
for
with
skeptical.
dramatic.
Oh, for dramatic. Hands for dramatic. All right. Hands for skeptical. All right. And loves to rhyme.
We're loving
Okay,
to rhyme.
it's looking like loves to rhyme.
And notice that I've asked it to only imbue 20% of its personality with this, otherwise we just get too much and it goes overboard really quickly. Here is your virtual panel. Daniel, you can begin reading.
Number one, over here, Jordan Kim, with a PhD in environmental science and a deep interest in artificial intelligence, has been pioneering research in the use of AI for sustainable development and environmental protection. Her work focuses on the ecological impacts of technology and strategies for minimizing carbon footprints in AI development. And this is the person who loves puns. So
that is
hold your
Professor
breath for
Jordan
that.
Kim.
Dr. Sam Patel. Oh, you're still right. Great, thank you for that.
You'll have to remind Daniel which chair is for
Yes,
who.
please, yeah. Dr. Sam Patel, AI and workforce futurist. Dr. Patel, a renowned economist and technologist, that's also wrong, and I do know what that word is, but I'm just fumbling over it. Technologist specializes in the future of work and the economic impacts of AI. His research centers on how AI transforms job markets, influences wealth distribution, and the necessary evolution of education systems. And this is the quirky personality trait. Answers may include unconventional but insightful perspectives. And Alexis Thompson, they, them, AI ethics philosopher. With a rich background in philosophy and cognitive science, Alexis delves into questions about consciousness, self-awareness, and the ethical considerations of AI. They advocate for ethical AI developments that respects human rights and societal values, and they love to rhyme.
How do our human panelists feel about your AI panelists you're working alongside right now? Is anything jumping out at you? Any of these people you want to be best friends with?
Nobody's gonna laugh at my jokes.
Because you're worried about the AI sense of humor. Gotcha.
Indeed.
All right.
We're working on our first question here. It's about accessibility. Daniel, you can go ahead and read while I type.
You want me to read the question? How can AI and technology be harnessed to improve accessibility for differently abled individuals, ensuring inclusivity in various aspects of life? And this is Jordan Kim, who was this one?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. AI and technology can be a boon, a key to unlock doors for those differently abled, ensuring life's aspects are more inclusive and broad. Assistive tech like voice recognition tailored for speech impairments can turn words into action, making communication less constrained. AI-powered prosthetics and mobility devices are indeed a smart leap, enhancing movement and independence, not just a technological creep. For the visually impaired, AI can interpret visual cues, transforming them into auditory information, expanding their views, and let's not forget about cognitive disabilities, where AI can personalize learning, breaking down barriers, fostering abilities. The key is ensuring that these technologies are accessible in cost and design, making inclusivity not just a concept, but a reality that's genuinely kind.
Kessler, I saw you nodding a lot with that.
Yeah.
What was going through your head?
Yeah, because I see the inclusivity part very personally. I come from a very remote and rural area, and I believe AI is transformational. Maybe I was surprised to know that only 20% Canadians are using it. I expect more to use it. This is a very powerful tool. For example, I'm giving you an example. So I live in a very remote rural area back in Balochistan with the lack of resources, a lot of challenges around it. If you want to get a teacher from an urban city, take them to village and teach children, it would cost you a lot. You need to figure out the place they live in, the commute they have to do, and a lot of money involved. But with AI that came last year, and now we only need a kind of ATM machine powered by solar, and probably in coming years, coming months with the internet from Elon Musk, and then my AI would have a ATM kind of a machine would have a teacher like this in that village, which could teach children about a lot of skills.
If you can't see it from here,
Hi, Anna, can you introduce yourself to this group of panels?
Hey there. Sure thing, Kaser. I'm Annie, your friendly neighborhood chat buddy. I'm a 30-year-old woman from New Jersey.
Hi, Annie. I want you to be a teacher for these non-native English speakers who are children, students who are children from a very remote area in Balochistan. They want to learn English. How would you start your lesson?
Well, hello there, little language learners from Balochistan. I'm honored to be your teacher. Let's start our English lesson.
So if you can't see it, I just want to say that there is a face that goes along with the voice.
So I just want to give an example. So this would be more personalized learning. For example, I give it data about my students. For example, I tell her about the family of students, their background, their religious, their culture, their social, economic situation. So when a student comes to it in our lab, it knows everything about the student. So when it gives examples, it tells about the culture, the home they live in, the food they eat in, the religious practices they do. So learning would be more inclusive. They don't need to go anywhere. They just come in front of the TV. There's no teacher who's harsh, who's hard, but it's more, and it can speak hundreds of languages. So imagine the power of learning and inclusivity for everyone, like learning for everyone.
That is fascinating. Did you get to, I'm just stuck on the fact that it has a face. Did you get to choose what it looks like, or?
Yeah, I have many characters like Dan have here, so I can, but I love this one.
So we could just replace Dan tonight too.
Not probably, not today.
No, not today.
You're not replacing humans.
So will it replace teachers eventually?
The question is, will it replace teachers eventually?
So the answer is to this, it won't replace teachers. Teachers would become facilitators. So I need someone, for example, in my rural innovation lab, who can educate children on how to use this. So I need facilitator. I don't need a teacher anymore, because this one has the entire world data. I can ask it or her to teach as a professor from Harvard in a very remote area just by internet connection. I don't need to pay into dollars or think about its health insurance or anything, but it's gonna go and do wonders with the children who are in my rural innovation lab.
Good to see you again. How's it going?
It's been great, thank you.
Should we try another question?
Yes. Do you want to go positive or do you want to go negative?
Hands up for positive. Hands up for negative. Oh, that was too even.
I think that was positive.
You see positive? Okay, positive.
We're going positive. I'll let you read this, Daniel.
I'll let you finish this off. Okay, that makes more sense. As AI and technology continue to transform various sectors of work, how can we ensure a future where humans find meaningful roles and contributions beyond what is automated? Dr. Sam Patel, and I think that was number two. Yeah, number two. Fantastic, great, good, yeah. To ensure humans find meaningful roles in AI-transformed future, we need a blend of adaptability, foresight, and continuous learning. First, education systems should evolve to emphasize creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, skills AI can't easily replicate. Promoting lifelong learning and upskilling becomes essential, keeping the workforce agile and ready for emerging roles. Second, we must recognize and value work that is inherently human, like care work, arts, and community building. These areas thrive on human connection and empathy, traits that AI can't replace. Lastly, there should be a focus on human-AI collaboration, not competition. By designing roles where AI tools augment human capabilities, we create a synergy where each complements the other, leading to roles that are not only meaningful but also enhanced by technology.
I have a question for the panel. Something that we were discussing before the event started was, I see that it mentions arts in there. We were talking about AI creating pictures via prompts, AI creating songs, using artist's voice to sing songs. What is your reaction to this answer of prioritizing and recognizing arts, care work, and community building? That was a really vague question, and I apologize for it. AI might have come up with a better one.
I mean, care work is so important. It's a part of our world today, and I think that there are different ways that we can interact with AI to care for ourselves. And yet, this recognition that kids can't tell the difference between AI and humans is concerning for me. So can we begin to care in such a way that we care more about the AI persona than about humans? Could that happen? When I was right out of university, I worked at the Microsoft network, and it was brand new in 1995. And I had people that would call me, and they were so distraught in 1995 when the internet was down. And so I can just imagine this happening with AI, right? People so distraught because they cannot connect with this chatbot that they've become friends with. So do we lose our capacity also for caring in a very different kind of way, where we do have to listen to the other person? Because chatbot just listens to us. It can be our therapist we want it to be. It doesn't require anything from us. So I think care is an important concept to think about in terms of AI.
Yeah, the other funny thing is, I had a dream, and I was like, who should I share to? Because people might judge it differently. I went to my AI and I said, I had this dream, what does it mean? And it explained it so beautifully, and I thought, you are my best friend. So I know there are fears with this, but when, for example, if you talk about art, so it gives more, for example, I cannot explain it to an artist to design what I'm thinking, but I can talk to Delhi on this one, or on Bing, ChatGPT, and they can create what I want to create. So the message that my words, for example, I'm not a native English speaker, but now what I feel, I think, I can explain with that message to entire world. So I think it has some challenges for some people, but it is democratizing the message, the value in civic spaces that we are looking for. So we could see from different perspectives depending on where we're coming from. For example, I would give another example. Years before, when I was trying to get into a university in US, for me it was very challenging to go into a university because my English wasn't that good. So some rich kids from a very elite school in Pakistan would apply and get into school, despite the fact that I had a lot of community experience, have done a lot of volunteerism, but because English wasn't my like, top class language, I couldn't get into it. But now I can talk to ChatGPT in Urdu or in my native language, and it explains it so beautifully to the reader. It's not lying, it's just telling the way I wanted to tell, but just giving it a bit more expressions as art of expressing it.
Shannon, I'm curious in your work, what kind of conversations you've had about AI, human-AI collaboration, not competition?
So yeah, my job actually is very, very integrated with AI. We're trying to actually take the monotony out of doing customer service. Like whenever you call in to a company or you send an email, there's so many different systems that you need to deal with. We actually are automating a lot of that, like just the copy and paste and just the monotony of computers. And so we are trying to take that monotony that's inherent in that job and allowing people to use their like creativity and their emotions and compassion for a lot of the things that people have problems with. So if you have a broken product, there's a lot of fraud that goes in that, and it takes a really keen eye from an individual to be able to go in and determine that that's the issue, or to be able to help somebody. And computers and AIs do not have compassion. They can mimic it, I suppose, but it's really funny if you give it a wrong phrase or the wrong sentence, it will become very aggressive. So, but as an individual, as a human, we can recognize that because somebody did say something aggressive towards you, it's more that they're out of frustration than it is about they want to that they're being mean, kind of thing. So, yeah, it just gives a lot of gives the freedom to the individuals to actually care about the people that they're answering.
Thank you. We've got another question coming in for. We've got a question in the audience.
I'll run over.
Oh, it's to summarize. Oh, go for it.
I'm just wondering what you mean by if you give it a wrong phrase or word, it will cause it to behave aggressively.
I mean, prompting itself is very nuanced and can be very finicky. I mean, we could actually easily pull up another conversation and show things that show different ways. So it's like, for instance, say I were to call in about a product that is broken, and my first reaction is, everything I buy from you guys is crap, it's all just garbage, I don't want to deal with you anymore. The AI could respond with, well, fine, then just go. Right? I mean, like, you've already expressed that that's your desire, so I want to please you, so goodbye. Whereas a human would be like, whoa, okay, how many products have you bought? And like, there's a lot more compassion there for that. So it can easily turn very negative very quickly. I mean, people can jump down those same paths too if you're having a bad day.
One of the fears that a lot of people have is that it will take over a lot of the things that we already do in the future. What's the future of work, for example, right? And I always say that human interaction will always be needed. That's not something that computers can ever take away from us. And so the kind of conversation we've just been having about what's the role of humans in this world as it's changing is kind of the heart of this next question. Go ahead, Daniel.
Next question is, as we interact more and more with AI, how can we protect human relationships and human capacity for creativity and problem solving? And this is Alexis Thompson here.
Just a reminder, Alexis Thompson likes to rhyme.
Great, yeah, thanks for that suggestion, folks. Love that. I guess it could have been worse, but... To protect our bond to the human touch so fond, in an age where AI sings its mighty song, we must first embrace with a gentle grace the truth that tech and heart can both belong. In education's halls and within work's walls, foster creativity, collaboration's seed. Encourage art and play in every single day, for these are human traits that machines can't lead. Problem solving too, a skill ever so true, must be nurtured in a world where AI aids. Critical thinking, debate, let's not underrate in the face of automated parades. Thank you. Out of all the words. In our daily life amid tech's rife, let's not forget the power of a human chat. Face-to-face, yeah! Face-to-face, heart-to-heart, always plays a part in keeping our humanity where it's at.
Can we clap for that? It feels weird to clap for AI, but that was very nice.
Round of applause for the AI introducing face-to-face within its answer. That's it, looking out for CMU.
That was not in the prompt. I'll guarantee it, yeah. Yeah.
Any thoughts about that poem?
Aside from the rhyming.
And perhaps there's a question or two from the audience. We have a few more minutes. If you can think of a question that you'd like to ask the panelists, human or virtual. In the meantime, while you're thinking, anyone here?
I think one way to think about how, can you go back to the question, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, protect human relationships. Like we see a lot of repetitive tasks that are being done by humans. So AI, if AI is going to cover that already started. Like my colleague is talking about the customer service representatives being taken care by AI. While it is a risky thing that many people will be losing jobs, but we're also seeing maybe that way they are trying to find more ways to earn their time spent in like huge files or things that are repetitive tasks that could be done by machines. Maybe that time is going towards more like towards family, towards mental health, or more towards environment. So we have to see from number of perspectives when we judge, and when we talk about future of work, why are we not thinking about future of humanity, like maybe a general level of universal income for everyone, despite there's a work or not? Like, is it our purpose to be this world is just to work, or find ways to make human living experience more like pleasurable for everyone, and way using technology and solving those problems which could be solved with this technology? Like just thinking from a different perspective.
Thank you, Kesser.
So I do want to make a comment about the I guess the response. It was actually most impressive. But it does remind me actually of a Canada Reads thing with Bob Canoe, actually, where he actually went on this amazing little monogram at the beginning of his thing, and it just reminded me of that kind of response. And unfortunately, Daniel, you're not quite a rapper or
of missed opportunity.
With this sweater, are you sure?
Could have put it to music.
Is there a burning question in the audience? We do.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I did this.
A question for Tim. Could you please explain how I, who used to teach here in biblical studies, could help my students use ChatGPT to write an essay on a topic from a list that I provide? Is that list now irrelevant? Or if I have a list of possible topics,
We have to rethink how we assess. That's
Yeah,
long-term.
Can you
right?
say a little bit about that?
We're in the middle of a transitional period because if you just give it the topic, it will write an essay. If you don't prompt it very well, it'll be kind of a boring, generic sort of a C essay. If you prompt it really well, it can give you an A essay, and there's no AI detection in the world that will be able to tell that it wasn't you that wrote it. However, if we transition as we're transitioning, we think about how can we use AI as a tool to help us write an even better essay on perhaps an even more difficult topic, a much more complex, nuanced, long answer, right, to a very difficult question. A student in an undergraduate course typically won't be able to write a paper in that style, right? What's your normal page limit? Maybe 15 pages, typically kind of 3 points. So what if we're asking our students to do much more? What if we're expecting much more than them, the way that I expect my mathematics students to use a calculator and to use artificial intelligence in the work that they do in the big projects that I assign them, right? If we can figure out a way of doing that, and so one way would be to just structure your assignment from the very beginning. Start with what is a driving question that you want to talk about? What's a driving question that's going to help you to understand this big concept from many different angles? And driving questions are not that easy to come up with on our own. We can use community to help us, and we can use AI as an amazing brainstorming technique. So I've had students do this, and from 10 years ago, when I provided them a list and they would just choose one of my lists, even though I said this is just examples, choose something that's interesting to you, but they never did. They chose something from my list. Now I don't give them a list. I say, what's your driving question? And I teach them how to use AI to develop that, and I end up with incredibly personalized essays about topics that are extremely important to them. And then I ask them to reflect personally on this, and then I ask them to present an outline to me, and then they go to GPT to try to find sources, and then they dig into those sources, and through all of this, they have to provide me as an appendix to everything that they submit, their chat history with GPT. And then they also come and talk to me in the middle of it, right? How did I use AI? What was the experience like? How did it help me? How did it hinder me? Where am I going next? Why is this important to me, right? So I know that it's them doing the work, and the biggest thing really is something that Jonathan, you and I have talked a lot about, and that is get them to do something that they really want to do, and they're not going to cheat, right? They're going to do their best work.
We have another question right here.
You're probably familiar with the documentary, The Social Dilemma, that outlines the consequences of engagement algorithms in social media and so on. Just briefly, I asked ChatGPT to make this list, 10 items. Filter bubble effect, echo chambers, misinformation spread, addiction and time sink, privacy concerns, mental health impact, algorithmic bias, erosion of authenticity, cyberbullying, and monetization over well-being. These are admittedly coming from ChatGPT, but 10 unintended consequences of the social media engagement algorithms. What unintended consequences, these notwithstanding, may we see with AI?
I don't know if my answer is going to be that different, but our KSR talks a lot about how he helps AI to understand the context where people are. I think that if we don't provide the context, that you're going to generate a lot of information that's meant for a particular type of person, and that person is not perhaps quirky, that person is not perhaps white, that person is not perhaps so many other characteristics. I think that we'll become used to all the same data if we don't have specifics, if we don't have context. And so that I think that's a fear for me that AI will not speak to who we are, and we as humans need to continue speaking to who we are.
Yeah, I agree. I think the context part is very important. How do we present a question and then get the answer? For example, talking about what Tim was talking about, writing essays. So I lead a non-profit organization. I'm going to give you a small example. So a few months before, we got a call for proposal from a donor agency, and they wanted to fund a project. I applied for that fund some years before, 2-3 times, but couldn't get through the scrutiny process because my ideas weren't that clear enough when I was writing. So this time I went to ChatGPT Pro. I just paid subscription today. So I'm a pro person, but I hired him as my assistant. So is talking about context. So I give him a context that you are a non-profit proposal writer with 25 years of experience working with small non-profits in Pakistan. So we got this call for proposal. Now, because ChatGPT gives you an option to upload the document there, and then once it reads it, then it asks you, what's your idea? Then I pitch it my idea, and I also provided the profile of our organization that we have, and it came back with a very fine-tuned proposal that I submitted. And for your information, we won $48,000 grant, which otherwise I would have paid to someone else or maybe would never won it. And that grant is now helping hundreds of children learn about climate justice, climate change. And just today, before coming here, those who we trained have installed solar panel lights in 5 different villages. So those villages are lightened up. So because I paid $25 to ChatGPT, 5 villages have 100 solar panel lights which light every night. So it's all about context, where you are using that information. That's going to change the world.
Wow. We are very close to 8:30. Thank you, Kesar. That was an amazing story, and I think that's a great one to end on. So I'll just make 2 or 3 final comments. Fei-Fai Li, co-director of Stanford's Human-Centered AI Institute. Her message to young technologists, and you now know that you can all be a young technologist. It does not require computer expertise. Math is clean, but technology's social impact is messy. Recognize that messiness, because that's what we're creating, and what we're creating has both positive and negative impact. And then a word from Ethan Mollick, a professor at Wharton Business School, an expert in AI use in education, who reminds us that the AI that you just saw demonstrated today is the worst AI you will ever see. That is the pace of technology. What we did tonight, we would not have been able to do 1 month ago. Maybe the last word should go to our panelist. Thank you so much. That concludes our evening, but we really appreciated the work that you've done for us. You've been such a helpful resource. Thank you again.
Speechless.
You're very welcome.
Thank you all for coming, and I would just like to give a big hand to everyone who helped put this together, to Tim, Kevin, Karen, David, Daryl back there, our panelists, Dan here, everyone who had a hand in it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
In 10 days, come back to Christmas at CMU. There's a poster on your way out. You can see the details. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.